Alright, we're going to be talking about wrapping everything up together, right? Using time, using price, when to stop looking for entries, when to zoom out, when to zoom in, right? So let's get it. So we're going to be using the 4 hour and daily for this video. I'm not going to use the weekly, monthly, or anything like that. I want to keep it simple for you guys. I don't want to, have too much time frames and shit. So 4 hours is what we're going to do. So let's start with the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour at this current price, we use the daily right now. Right, what do we have here? Right, let's break the whole thing down. Right, again, we're not looking towards the left. Like, we don't care what's happening there yet. Right, we're just focused on the daily and the 4 hour. Right, we are currently in this range. Right, again, UJ has been bullish. We are bullish. We have our drawn liquidity. Right, so 4 hour we are bullish. So what can also daily we are bullish. We have this as a target. So if price wants to reverse there, price will come up there, then reverse, right? If we're bullish, price will still make its way up there, right? So it's a target. We don't know if it's going to reverse, we don't know what it's going to do, but it's a target that price will most likely reach, right? And then, I'll just write that down. And we also have our drawn liquidity up here, right? And this range here, if you guys watched the previous video, it's an IDR, right? So now we have three POIs to the upside, 4 including this up there. We have 3 POIs in the daily time frame, right? If you've watched previous video, you know this is still bullish, right? Just because we have not broke this swing low, right, with a body closure, right? So we're still bullish, right? So let's jump on the 4 hour. What do we see here, right? Right now, nothing, right? We see price mitigate this fair value gap, but it seems like price is pushing its way up. That's fine. So on the 4 hour, we still don't have a valid fair value gap, right? So there's still nothing interesting to work on, right? And it's just when you wait, right? Trading is a waiting game. Wait till you see setups, wait till you see price action that makes sense. Right now, nothing makes sense, right? We have our POIs, but nothing makes sense yet on the 4 hour, right? So let's continue price. Perfect. So now we have a fair value gap that we could work with. One fair value gap right there. If price wants to remain bullish, mitigate this, take the IDR, then make its way up there and all that, right? Again, since we're working the 4 hour, we're going to be confirming in the 5 minute, right? So this is still a significant high to TP, right? So keep that in mind too. If we're bullish and if he wants to, reach those POIs in the higher time frame, you should start running from now, right? So we'll jump on the 5 minute. And what do we see here, right? So this, right? Again, we're not entering when it doesn't make sense, right? Like, look at that sloppy price action, right? And again, look at the time, right? So 10 o'clock is when we start Asia. So Asia starts here, right? Then you get price action that seems a bit more, shit that makes more sense, right? So again, now we have this fair value gap to work with, right? So Asia starts now, right? Now we're getting significant price action, right? Now we're seeing something that we could work with. Perfect. Now our entry, right? So Asia's started. It's an hour since Asia started. So this is a good time to start entering trades, right? So you want to enter while Asia consolidates, right? Then it slowly starts expanding, right? So we'll let price go, right? That's fine. Stay in the high time frame too, right? So we're still monitoring price on the high time frame, right? So if you took that trade, right? So as I was talking about how the 5 minute is still, that high is still significant price action, right? So, you can TP at 3 hour, right? That's, that's still, 2.5 hour, sorry. That's still fine. You could hold to, 6 hour, whatever you want to do, right? So leave that there for now. And if we jump back on the 4 hour, right? What do we see here? So right now, we still have nothing to work with. We're still making our way up to the fair value gap, right? To the daily fair value gap. So on the 4 hour, still nothing to work with, right? Bam. Now we get another fair value gap that we could potentially enter longs off, right? Because our target is still this fair value gap, right? Then price makes another fair value gap, right? Which is what we want. So we can still enter from that. That's still fine, right? So we can confirm that with a 5 minute. what do we see here? Again, right? So right now, there's nothing interesting going on here, right? There's no, again, no good price action, right? What I mean by price action, right, is fair value gaps, right? So here, this tells us he wants to go somewhere, right? This is most likely going to run to this fair value gap, right? So you could, enter trades and whatever, right? From here to NTP there, right? But now we're looking for bullish fair value gaps. So let price do its thing, right? Now let's look for a bullish fair value gap, right? Something nice and clean. So we get this. This I'm not a fan of, right? Just like, I would rather reconfirm with another fair value gap, right? Another bullish one. Alright, there we go. Notice how that's much more cleaner, right? So now we have one fair value gap there, another one, right? So that's confirming order flow, right? So right there, we can wait. So now we have to wait for this fair value gap to be cemented, right? Because the next candle can just close and this is no longer valid, right? So we need to wait for that to be cemented. Get cemented now, right? Stop loss down there, right? Or down there, what do you want to do, right? And your TPs wherever, right? TPs the high, 4 hour, you go half, whatever you want to do, right? And there we go, right? And also notice how we got another entry here too, right? So, another entry there. I'm not too sure if it's the daily fair value gap, but again, right? Your time, understand your time, right? So what I mean by that is understand that we got another entry in Asia, right? So that's, you want to be entering in sessions, right? Maybe kill zones or whatever, right? So even though price was like all slowy and consolidating or whatever, right? And we already had one entry. Again, you gotta understand the time too, right? A lot of people won't be taking this entry because it's 5 a.m. right, Australian time. So when you get a better entry opportunity like this, it's easy and much more pleasant to take and execute, right? And here too, right? So you got now you got London, right? You got London happening now, right? Is there any significant price action we could work with, right? That there, right? So notice how we're using time and also price, right? So now you can look for your setups at a certain time, right? Just like how you wouldn't really take this trade here because it's it's not a significant time, right? So me personally, I would skip this, right? Just for this example, I did take it, right? But I would skip this because it's not aligned with a session or a time that I'm used to trading, right? So this is much better. So this is Asian. If you want to trade London, again, our bias is still the same. We're still bullish, right? And a lot of you guys, you guys might be entering shorts because it took out Asian high or whatever, right? Like, none of that matters. The higher time frame matters, right? So focus on the higher time frame. Then use your, your liquidity and use your sessions to capitalize on that move, right? So again, 4 hour, now we've reached a daily fair value gap, right? So now if we stay on the daily, right? Daily to daily, PDA to PDA, right? So what that means is we've reached a daily. Now what can you work on in the daily, right? So we've reached the daily, right? So the daily's been reached. Now where can price make its way to, right? What do we see here? Fair value gap, right? And a mitigation block right there, right? So now our area of interest is this area, right? So from daily to daily, so daily fair value gap to daily mitigation block overlapping with the fair value gap, right? So now this area is my interest, right? So now I'm not focused on price until it hits my area. Does hit? There we go. It taps into it, right? Perfect. Now can we confirm it? All right. So now we could use time again, time to help us out. So here, Asia still hasn't started, right? So right now it's just like rollover period. New York's just about to finish, whatever, right? So now we're just waiting on significant price action again, right? So when you see price action like this, right? So if we're staying on the daily, right? So we want this low, right? Again, obviously we know, you know, again, I want to make sure you guys know we're still, there's still hindsight trading. We know it's going to reach up there, but again, we're just making, we're practicing, right? We're just practicing on how price moves. So for this sort of price action, right? So you could wait on the liquidation of the previous candle like that, and then look for longs, right? So if we're on the 4 hour, right? So liquidation of this, then we get the rally up, right? But again, we're working with 15 minutes just because, we're in a daily PDRA. So 15-minute confirmed over the 15-minute. So again, now we get the liquidation. So this, now we look for longs, right? We get the liquidation. Now we're looking for that bullish fair value gap, right? We get that displacement up. Now we just need a fair value gap to confirm it, right? There we go, fair value gap. Now our entry can just be like that and target, target whatever we want to target, right? So maybe there, right? That's fine. Right? And then you also see like the amount of times you could have re-entered and whatever, right? So again, notice how we waited on the previous day, or like the previous candle sweep on the daily, right? And also that also matches with time and price, right? So we didn't really want to trade this price action, right? Because it wasn't timed with us, right? We had nothing to work with. No time, no price, right? Price just stopped there. We want to wait until we, take a low, then we get the displacement higher, right? Or, wait for the session to give us some sort of clear bias, right? So the Asia session started. The Asia session started, swept the previous candle low, right? The daily low, and then made its way higher, right? Now we could work on with the 4 hour, right? What does a 4 hour give us? And also, if you miss that entry, right, you still have this fair value gap entry there, right? So if we wanted to confirm that, right? So we'll get rid of this. So now we're in a 4 hour fair value gap here, right? And now our entry, just like that, right? And the same target, right? So notice how it's time, price, it's everything, right? So yeah, we'll go on the 4 hour now. Is there anything else we could work with, right? So same thing, right? Same thing. It all repeats, right? So all repeats. Again, if you're TPing up here on the 5 minute, it's still significant price action that you could work with, right? So 5 minute, can we confirm that, that trade with time, right? So here, now we can look for entries after this, right? So after New York starts. There. So New York starts there. Now we're looking for bullish fair value gaps. What do you see? You see one entry there, that's fine. Stop loss, you can have it there or there, wherever. Just for this example, I'm going to do it there, right? That's still 2R, right? But again, you could partial there and, as price is running, but it's pretty simple, right? So we're working with all your time frames. For this example, it was only the daily 4 hour and 5 minutes, right? So it was only 3 time frames, and we have to create and catch all those moves coming up, right? So I'm pretty sure there was one entry somewhere here, right? There was multiple entries, right? And there was multiple entries, so, and it just lets you know that you could work with a lot of time frame, right? But it all has to make sense, and there needs to be some sort of context.